Welcome to Bloombox Growing Deeper. I'm Sarah.
I'm Hannah, and we're on a mission to help you become the gardener you want to be.
Hello, gardeners. We hope you had a good 4th of July and you either stayed cool or didn't get caught in the random storm.
Yes, and if you're out west, is it an ocean yet? I'm not sure.
Are you all driving boats?
Right.
And how are your plants? Because they're not used to this.
No, this is like an insane amount of water for those plants.
And for us in the eastern half of the state, it's the opposite.
If you could bring some buckets, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just bucketfuls.
Or just start hosing it this way.
Yeah. I don't know. Does the rain out there recharge the Ogallala Aquifer?
I would imagine so. It's
kind of.
Yeah. Our rivers are looking much better.
Ooh, the Platte. I've never seen it so full. I'll take that back.
Yeah.
2019.
It's not been that long since we had flooding problems.
Yeah, 2019 was the year of floods.
So if you haven't guessed, we're here to talk about problems, specifically midsummer problems that you might be seeing in your garden.
And just weird problems that we're not used to because of how crazy things are. Today, this morning, temperature, July 6th, we're at 60 degrees.
Yeah.
In the morning.
It was beautiful.
Meanwhile, last week, it was like 105.
And like pretty much that in the morning.
Mm-hmm. So who knows what's happening here? Climate change.
I will accept and enjoy a 60-degree morning.
I know.
Because I know it's not going to last very long. We're going to be 100 degrees next week again, I'm sure.
If I hadn't had 7 meetings scheduled today, I would have taken the day off.
I stole an hour this morning to go look at projects and check up on things, and I'm very, very glad I did. Things are looking gorgeous, and it was just really nice to be out in the nice weather before coming back to my office to look at people's paperwork.
Yeah. Lots of paperwork.
But you don't want to hear about our paperwork problems. You want to hear about our plant problems.
Or if you do want to hear about our paperwork problems, find us at the bar later.
We will tell you all you want to know, but you got to buy us a drink.
That's right. Okay, before we get started, I do want to do a quick announcement.
Ooh.
Because we are having our first ever Member Appreciation Week.
I know. I saw this on my calendar.
Yeah, are you excited for it?
I think it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be so fun. It's our first ever because, Toby's here and this is his job now.
Yes.
We didn't used to have somebody for that. So the week of July 17th, 17th, everybody.
That's this week.
Is this? Nope. Next week.
Next week.
And we're recording ahead, everybody.
I'm just skipping weeks.
I think you need all the weeks you can get.
I need all the weeks I can get.
But next week, July 17th, is Member Appreciation Week. So you can still join if you're not a member already, or you need to renew and participate in Member Appreciation Week, because we have so many fun things happening, including an Assurity Life Tour. That doesn't sound good the way I said it, but it is a garden tour at the Assurity Life building here in Lincoln, which has beautiful native gardens all around it.
You wouldn't think that from the name of the building, but it is one of the coolest, it's not really a public landscape because it's a business, but a business open area. It's one of the coolest, I think, in Lincoln.
Yeah. Member Appreciation Week trivia at Zipline Beer Hall. Everyone's going to be like, that closed. Only one of them closed. And that was so that they could grow and expand. We're excited for Zipline and our friends over there. So the beer hall, we are still going to do trivia there. So put together a team. That's open to everyone, not just members. And then we'll do a Q&A with me. That's where you can ask me about paperwork.
Yes.
I can talk all you want. And then on Thursday, July 20th, this is a big one. We are going to do a tree tour at the Children's Zoo, Lincoln Children's Zoo.
That is so cool.
In the morning. So before it gets too hot, because the trees there, the tree collection they have is amazing.
It is. Lincoln Children's Zoo is, I think, my favorite zoo because of all the trees and plants and horticulture they do there. And not that Omaha doesn't do a great job, but like Lincoln, it's like all in the shade. Mm-hmm. There's so many trees. Old trees. Valley. And a valley. New trees, old trees, and cool trees.
Yep. They've worked really hard to put together a really good selection. And then on Friday, to close this out, this is the big one. This is, high value member garden talk, only open to members, with Bob and Justin.
Oh my goodness. That is the highlight of the week.
And it's virtual, so anyone can join from anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to get your questions in front of Bob and Justin that week.
And your Q&A with the director is also virtual, right?
Also virtual, and also only open to members.
Yeah. So we've got 2 virtual.
3 virtual. I didn't mention one of them is how to use iNaturalist and doing a bio blitz that week.
That sounds very cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 3 virtual, 2 in person, 1 open to anybody but in person.
3 in person.
3 in person. You guys are going to be busy.
So many things.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's going to be so fun. So we're excited to celebrate our members. So make sure you get your membership in this week if you need to join or renew.
I will put a link in the show notes. If you're not familiar with being a member, we are, in fact, a member-supported organization.
Yes.
So if you like what we're doing, you might consider becoming one.
And we are teasing. We're not going to say what it is, but there will be a big announcement that week, too.
I might remember what this is, but I might not. So I'll have to show up to find out.
That's right. I think you'll be excited. If you listen to the podcast, you'll be excited about the big announcement.
Okay. So check the show notes for a link to what it means to be a member of the Nebraska Statewide Arboretum, and then join us for our Appreciation Week.
Mm-hmm. We'll be happy to have you.
Okay.
All right. What are we talking about? Problems.
Okay. Problems.
99 problems, and plants are one of them.
No, plants are the solution.
Sometimes they cause
problems. Okay, so the first problem we're going to start with. So these are all things that kind of occur in the garden, not only in midsummer, but they kind of intensify right now.
Right, and people have been asking.
Yes, I pulled almost all of these from Facebook questions or Hannah's questions. So
thank you.
Or comments. I guess yours was more of a comment.
Yeah.
Flopping.
Flippity flop.
Not
the shoes. We like to have flippity flops around the pool, but
not in our plants.
Not in our plants.
So plants flop. It's a thing. Sometimes you can stop it. Sometimes you just got to work with it.
You know, my Rudbeckia, the big tall one that I always forget the full name of.
Subtomentosa.
Thank you. Has flopped every year for like 3 years now. I think only 1 year it stood up straight. That's okay. It's in its teenage phase.
Yeah.
So it flops, and then so now the plant has like 2 bends in it, because then it rebends
and then it flops
straight.
Oh, that's great.
So it's kind of fun.
That is fun.
I don't mind it.
So there's kind of 3 approaches to this. One is to just acknowledge that we're growing tall grass prairie species and pack more plants in.
Yep.
Now, the plants you pack in matter. If you pack in equally floppy things, you'll just have all sorts of flopping.
You're talking like, what kind of plants would you plant?
To hold up a Rudbeckia, probably things like big blue stem, or stiff leaf goldenrod, or like a really rigid aster.
Sure.
Things that are like oomph.
Yeah.
Not like a coreopsis or a geranium.
Do you know what I put next to it?
What'd you put next to it?
Joe Pye.
So
equally floppy.
Equally tall and floppy.
This is one of my original gardens.
That's okay. It's still fine.
Yeah.
Because that's only one solution, right? Is to use other plants to hold it up. The second solution is to use other things to hold it up. So like if they're in front of a fence, a little piece of twine can fix that. I'll put in the pictures, what I do is wooden stakes with twine around the base of these plants, and you almost don't even know it's there. I mean, it's there, but it's not like it doesn't stand out very much.
Yeah. You know my Baptisia that flops on my car every year because I planted it in the wrong spot? I finally did invest in just like one of those metal stake things. It's not a full ring, it's a half ring.
Yes, like the peony thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? This is going to be a perennial problem.
Yeah. Oh, that was bad.
Pun intended. So I'm just going to leave it. There we go. It lives with the plants now.
That's fine. And I use some of those. It's like a small ring. It's like maybe 3 inches across, and it sits horizontal.
Yep.
And then it's on a stick.
Yep.
So it's very tiny. You really don't see it.
I've seen people use it with irises to keep their irises blooms.
Or like I use mine for my balloon flowers because no matter what you do, those things fall over.
Yep.
But you almost don't even notice it's there. But it is a small ring, so it's meant for like 1 or 2 stems.
Yeah.
Where like yours is meant for a whole plant.
Yeah.
The third option is strategic cutting back.
Okay.
And this works really well because even if we put other plants around the base of floppy things, we're still missing part of the prairie, and that's grazing.
Yes.
So we can cause that. Yeah. So I have a new Boltonia I planted this spring, and it was shooting false aster.
Okay.
It looks like a white aster, but
All right.
it's not. It's a Boltonia.
Got it.
Anyway, it shot up one long stem, which was like kind of ineffective. So I cut it off, and now it has 3 stems.
That's what you told me to do with my Baptisia.
Exactly.
I ended up not having to do that. It figured itself out.
I bet I'm sure it did. And if I gave this plant time, next year it probably would.
Yeah.
But I didn't want it flopping all over the place this summer. And with my sedges, I've got Plains Oval Sedge, which I know a lot of you have got in Bloom Box. It is still one of my favorite sedges. But I had this random thing this year where some came up in their nice green poofs. And some flopped out and the middle was like bald.
What?
It was just like all the stems laid down and then nothing in the middle.
That's how my baby niece's hair looks right now.
I bet it does.
Just a little, I hope my sister doesn't listen.
No, it's baby hair can do whatever it
She
wants.
made that joke. She's real nervous. It's going to stay that way.
Oh, no. I'm sure it will not stay that way.
It'll grow in.
My sedge didn't, so I'm sure her hair won't.
There you go.
I did have to cut it to fix it.
Which will probably be the case for most babies.
Probably. And I was really confused because some is fine and some is not. So I took all the floppy stuff, cut it all back, and it grew back up from the middle, and now it's fine.
There you go.
Yeah. And mountain mint, I know that my mountain mint's super floppy. And I know that if I cut it back, it would grow up stiff, but it's already flowering, and I don't want to sacrifice the flowers.
Nope.
It would flower again. I'm just not a patient person, so I didn't want to wait.
My mountain mint this year is very subdued compared to previous years, and I'm wondering if it's the drought.
Water, yeah. Some things.
It did not get as tall, and it is not as flowery.
Interesting.
And I am like, I better water something. I better do a little bit of supplemental watering.
I'm just enough north of you that we actually have gotten a little bit of rain, so mine is okay.
Well, every time I go, ooh, I really should, then it rains.
Well, so keep doing it.
Bob said he had 2 inches in his
nice
rain gauge on 4th of July.
On 4th of July? That's awesome. Perfect timing. It was about to get a little hairy.
Yes.
So if you have flopping problems, try some of those. You might also go the other way, and you might have a lot less flopping problems because we are having less water this year.
Right.
Or you might have plants that were fine up until they got hammered this weekend, and now they're flopping all over the place. So those are some solutions. You can kind of take your pick. Planting around it's kind of more of a long-term solution. It's not going to fix it right away.
Yep.
But a piece of twine and a stick do a lot.
I love it.
Yep. And it's very cheap.
Yes. I have used that in the past as well.
I do use the like hemp or coconut twine.
Yeah.
Because I'm prone to forgetting things. So I don't like to have plastic twine in my garden. So there's that.
There you go.
Okay. How about diseases?
They're everywhere. We're real positive here today, guys. Diseases. Okay, so you know me, I try to do 1 walk a week in Wilderness Park.
Yes.
With my dog.
That's a great idea.
And we walk the same path a lot, which means I get to see it over the seasons. And recently I was walking, I only had gone like 10 steps, I swear, and found bee balm. And I was like, oh, bee balm in the wild. And look at all the bugs on it, right? And I had been in Little Rock for a week, and it was 115 there, and it was 80 here. So I was really luxuriating.
Yes.
So I looked at the bee balm, and wouldn't you believe it? I took a picture. What does it have? Powdery mildew. Mm-hmm. We get, I love all of you NSA supporters, but if I get a complaint about powdery mildew on bee balm in our greenhouse one more time, I'm just going to start replying with this picture of it in the wild. It is a problem for bee balm, but also not a problem.
It's actually only a problem for people. The bee balm doesn't care.
That's true.
It is just the natural state of bee balm to have powdery mildew. Now, there's better years and worse years. Out west, I bet you guys are having a pretty bad time with it right now.
Yeah.
To the point where you might be worried about your plants because you've been so wet.
Can you remind us how plants get powdery mildew?
Well, it's a spore.
We know? Yeah.
And so
the wetter it is.
The wetter it is, the more that mildew spores kind of go back to our fungal. It's a fungal thing. So it lives in the soil. It lives on other plants.
Right. There's no getting rid of it.
There's not really any getting rid of it. You could, I'm sure they sell something to spray on it to make it better. Don't waste your money and don't hurt your garden.
Right.
There's literally no point.
No.
Bee balm has powdery mildew and it's fine. Now, in an overly wet condition, it could develop to the point where you have a problem. So if you do a lot of top watering with a sprinkler, or you're out west right now and you're just like having humidity that you're not used to, but it's just kind of its natural state.
Right. That just is what it is.
Yep.
Take it from Wilderness Park.
Yep. Bee balm has powdery mildew. It's fine.
And we'll have a picture in the show notes for that too.
Yeah. Now, diseases that aren't fine.
Yes, because there are many of those.
Yeah.
Aster yellows, which sounds fun.
It sounds cute. It's not.
No.
And actually, you don't see it on your asters. You see it on your coneflowers.
Which is my favorite.
Which is annoying.
And, could we get some help with the naming of things?
Asters now belong to the genus Symphyotrichum or Symphyotrichum, however you should choose to say it. It's long and hard to spell. Thank you, botanists, for nothing.
No.
Please stop doing that.
No, we love you, botanists.
We do love the botanists. We do wish maybe they would wait till they were more confident to change names sometimes.
Sure.
Because it does happen. A lot of these plants got named with their botanical names before we had a lot of the technology that we have. And we're learning that things that appeared to belong together don't. That was a complete tangent. What are we talking about?
We were talking about aster yellows.
Aster yellows, which has nothing to do with aster. Well, it does. But what it affects in your garden is your coneflowers.
Right.
And what it makes them do is instead of opening a flower, they get like a second flower out of the top of the flower.
And then a third and a fourth, right? They just keep going?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've seen like two.
Oh, okay.
But they kind of stay greenish. And the first year it might not be so bad. You might get a purple flower, just a couple funky poofs. But it's a systemic disease. It stays. And it gets worse and worse and worse. And it does like affect... if you have one affected coneflower, it's going to infect the others. So if you have aster yellows, the solution is to dig up your coneflowers.
Yeah, with all the dirt, right?
I don't know. I've never tried quite that hard.
Good gracious.
Oh, no.
With all the soil.
I've never tried that hard. I just dug them up, waited 2 years, and planted them like not in the exact same space. I'm sure that technically there's like a length of time or an amount you should remove. I just have waited a little bit.
Remember I had that coneflower plant that didn't have aster yellows.
Right.
But it would like shrivel in the middle of the flower stem and just
do you have root
flop
rot,
over.
Stem rot?
And then I dug it up to see if moving it would work. And the roots were covered in white. So I just got rid of it.
That makes sense.
They're still in that spot. Every year, one coneflower plant, like little bud, finds its way up and just gets about blooming in the fall.
Dies.
And now I'm just waiting to see how long that plant can just
keep trying and how long it
the
lasts
roots,
in the soil.
I guess. Yeah. We'll see.
How about random death?
Okay, this is a problem I have been experiencing in my garden this year, and I'm guessing it's from the drought and the extreme temperature changes, because we are going hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. Not super cold, but it's like, it's fall today.
It is, yeah.
Like, this is what I would expect. So I had a Cali purple, hold on, it's gonna come to me. Purple poppy mallow, thank you. That flowered and then just died. I have a bunch of others in that same garden.
That are all fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. I have a Missouri primrose that has been blooming for years. And by years, I mean like 3. This year, popped up and then just shriveled and died.
How near is it to your Cali?
They are across the sidewalk from each other.
So we don't have like any advice on this for you, except to commiserate and say it happens. You're not a bad gardener. But I do wonder with the 2 plants you mentioned and what happened, like voles and shrews are they live underground and they eat roots, and you might never see the animal.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And those are 2 species, also like Liatris. Anything with a nice juicy root can kind of fall prey to them.
Alistair likes to eat voles.
Well, that's good. Good for your plants. So he might have missed one, or it might have been nothing. Like, sometimes random death happens, and we just want you to know it happens to us too.
Well, and my flowering dogwood, it died this winter.
Yeah.
I have random pieces of this, I don't even know. It's some kind of evergreen bush in front of my house on both sides of my porch, which is they're both going to get removed sometime soon because we're redoing the porch.
Yeah.
It's hard to do masonry with that around. The middle pieces are dying. They're brown and dead.
Huh.
And I'm just like, I don't know, water.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with.
For me, it was our blackberry bush.
Oh,
and it's actually not. It's
bush.
Yeah. It's like, and we love it because it produces so well. Mm-hmm. The main plant just died. And luckily, if you know blackberries, we had a few babies around. Right. So we can keep those. But that thing is like the toughest plant that comes up in the middle of our yard all the time. And it just up and died this year. Yeah. No explanation.
It just happens.
Yep.
Who knows?
But it happens to everybody. Every gardener has had random death. It does not make you a bad gardener.
Now, where you need to be worried is if you're like, okay, well, that one died. That's too bad. And you dig it up and you plant a new plant and that dies. And then the next one dies. And then they all die. Then you should be concerned.
Or if like the whole garden up and dies, that's kind of a problem. Mm-hmm. We hope that doesn't happen to anybody.
It's my worst nightmare. I've invested so much.
Yeah.
Time, sweat, blood, tears.
Yeah, money. Gardening is not a cheap hobby sometimes. Okay, insects. We'll start with problematic ones.
Okay.
And so we had in our Facebook group a question about some asters that were turning yellow. Mm-hmm. And
it's not asters yellow.
It's not aster yellows, which makes that very difficult to search, let me tell you. And it was kind of a conundrum because people were asking questions, trying to get to a diagnosis. And yeah, it is up against a brick wall, but all the other plants are fine. So that takes out kind of the heat factor. And so it ended up, from my books, looking like...
What was turning yellow? The leaves?
The leaves. And it started with the lower leaves. Okay. So, yes, there technically are some diseases and viruses, but usually you see those in, like, really heavily planted monocultures. I just have not seen too many diseases to that extent get diagnosed in a home garden, right? Outside of like a greenhouse or like an intensive growing area.
Yeah.
From the pictures in my books, I think I came to the conclusion, I'm pretty sure it's lacewing bugs.
Okay.
Which are very common in our gardens. And sometimes they exist there without really causing a problem. There's lots of things they eat on. But asters, they can get to the level where they're a problem.
Okay.
And so I sent this person a link, and I'll share it in the show notes too. Basically, they suck the juice out of leaves. So you see leaves.
They're like vampires.
They are. Lots of bugs are.
Yeah, I know.
That you see leaves kind of start to just turn stippled or kind of spotty, and then they all turn yellow, and then they turn crispy. Well, it's different than like chlorosis, or where it's in between the veins and
right.
things.
And chlorosis is a mineral imbalance.
Right. That's like fertilizer problem. So you can tell because it's all over, and it starts out spotty. And they make kind of a lacy mess of stuff too.
Sure.
They're usually really easy to diagnose if you're there hard from photos, easy in person because you can find the insect.
Yeah.
And this link gave some great ideas for dealing with them in a way that works with pollinator habitat. You can, if you're just starting to see them, you can rinse them off with water.
Right.
You can brush them and squish them. In this case, I'd recommend the person, it was bad enough, I would recommend they cut it to the ground. So you remove the food source.
Yeah.
And then it gives time for the insect to realize there's no food to move on as the plant grows back up.
But are they just going to move to the next plant?
Well, they have favorites. And so, like...
Mine is potato chips.
Mine is those cheesy potato chips in that bag of chips you left in the workroom.
I hate...
That I keep
wasn't
eating. Usually they'll like truly move to... a space with more food for them.
Okay.
Because and that is part of the thing is the plant diversity.
Yeah.
They affect the asters really strongly. But if you only have 3 or 4 asters, they're going to move on looking for more food.
Yeah.
So there are, if you really end up with like they keep coming back, there is like horticulture oil, neem oil, whatever you want to call it. Now, when you use these things, it's an organic solution.
Sure.
So it's safe for you. It's safe for your kids and pets. But the oil has no idea which insect it's killing.
Right.
So we kind of try to use that as the last option because you are going to kill the lacewings, but you're also going to kill, some bees and some butterflies and things you want to have around.
And so you would probably say the thing that's not going to harm anything but the plant, which is already being harmed. Would be cutting it back.
Right. And the plant's already being harmed. In this photo was a week or so ago, so I can only guess it's gotten worse.
Right.
You're kind of at the point where you may lose the plant anyway, so let's at least try. And asters are great at coming back up from the base.
Yes, I had an aster that I planted last fall, and it was just a little bitty baby plant. And didn't get it caged in time, and a rabbit came snibbling it off right at the ground, and it came back this spring.
They're great at that. So it's a good solution because you can cut them back low enough that the bugs are going to move on because there's no food.
Right.
If you just cut something in half, you left food. But if you cut it back hard, you take away so much food, they're likely just to move on before you have that much growth come back.
It does hurt your heart.
It does.
But
it's
okay. Well, maybe not your heart.
Cutting back plants now.
It hurts my heart.
I mean, I did cave and not cut back my mountain mint because of the flowers, so I'm not immune. But plants can handle it.
Great. You know what time of year it is too? Japanese beetle time.
Ugh.
They're coming.
They're
coming for you.
They are.
Well, and we can recount my crazy emerald ash borer experience.
Oh yeah, tell us
y'all.
This was bad.
A couple weeks ago, I was walking home from work, as one does, and across the street from me, I hear, and I went, oh no, and I looked around, and across the street, a branch from a giant ash tree was falling, and I had time to do the Macaulay Culkin Home Alone with my hands on the other side as I watched it fall onto someone's car and just crush it. Like, the front of this car was
Reminds
crushed.
me of my wedding.
Yes.
Watching trees just take out cars.
And there's nothing you can do. What are you going to do? But I could have died, everyone.
You could have. It's a good thing you walked
I'm
on
going to
that
be
side of the
dramatic
street.
about it. I could have died.
I hope you would have had better reflexes.
I hope I
than
would have run, but it got a big spot.
Yeah.
So,
that. You have to run in the right direction.
So Emerald Ash Borer is out there, y'all. It's not something to mess with. If you notice your ash tree declining, call an arborist, call a tree care company, because it probably just needs to be taken down. Once it's infested, there's not a lot you can do. It's expensive, and you might as well just take it down and replant. And know that ash trees, especially when infested with EAB, tend to shatter like this. So it's not going to be the tree just falls over one day. It's going to be a branch here, a branch there.
In pieces.
On your house, on your car. You want to get it taken care of as quickly as you can.
And unfortunately, ash trees, unlike asters, do not resprout from a cutback. You cannot just cut it back. So we do recommend you replant a new tree that is not an ash.
Yes, absolutely. So there's one bug. Japanese beetles are on their way too. And remember, one of the best ways to control Japanese beetles when they hit is soapy water.
Yep. It's pretty much the only effective method. Or if you have something that... So the way we've kind of been told to expect Japanese beetles to go is that the first infestation it's like a wave. There's a little infestation. It rises to a wave where we're like, we're never going to survive this. All our plants will be gone. And it's terrible for a few years. And then it wanes.
Yep.
And they kind of just are. We are going down the other side of the wave. So if you have a plant that you're just trying to hang on for the next 5 years, netting is an option.
Yeah,
maybe not
or
for
something
like
that's already stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not for a whole giant tree, but if you've got like a couple rose bushes that you just love, grandma's roses that you just need to keep alive, like netting like they put over grapes will help. I can't guarantee you it will keep all of them out, but it will help.
Yeah. But otherwise, if you notice an infestation, knock them off into a soapy bucket of water.
Do not smash them.
No.
They call for help. That's not really what's happening, but it will summon more.
I would also call for help.
Somebody's smashing me. I don't know what they think the other beetles are going to do because they're not really an aggressive bug.
Right.
But
yeah, they can't sting you.
They can't sting you, but you don't want to smash them because they do release a pheromone.
Right. So just sweep them off into a bucket. That's what you can do.
Yeah.
They don't, unless you have a really big swath of land, don't put out the traps.
No, you need to have them. The way the traps work is to summon them away. So they require a lot of space. Now, bugs that are not a problem.
Yeah.
This is the time of year I get all sorts of pictures and calls about eggs on plants and things nibbling on plants.
And do you say, congratulations,
I do.
It's a baby?
Yes, that's exactly what's happening. Sure, they're bad bugs lay insects.
They also lay insects.
Bad bugs lay eggs too, but I got to identify some baby dragonfly eggs this morning. That was really exciting. This is the time to look for butterfly eggs.
Do you do a gender reveal?
No, because I'm not that good at gendering insects.
Right.
It's actually kind of hard.
It's very hard.
The book says you can.
No,
I can't.
It's an egg.
It's an egg. It's a baby dragonfly. Congratulations. So if something's eating your pollinator garden, congratulations. You did your job.
You did it right.
You did it right. I had something eating my primrose and my phlox.
It's a rabbit.
Yes, and then we are sorry.
But yes, primrose and phlox was eaten.
Primrose and phlox was eaten. Yeah, that's all I've noticed so far. But I watch, because when you see the nibbles, then you can find the caterpillars.
Right.
And once you find the caterpillars, you can look for chrysalises.
Right. Remember, plants are part of the food chain. They are intended to be eaten.
They must be eaten in order to do their job. So, if you have eggs or you have nibbled plants, congratulations. You have a reproduction of insects, which is exactly what we're going for.
An active ecosystem.
Yes,
with
that's
a life
a
cycle.
better word. That's what I was trying to say. Now, we know Hannah is on a schedule today.
Sorry.
So,
board meeting.
We have done a pretty good job staying on time. Anything else you needed to add?
I think that's everything. Okay. I just, remind people to be mindful of the watering situation.
After our 1.5 inches of rain this weekend, my neighbor's sprinklers were running this morning.
I've seen them running in the rain. So let's try not to set them on automatic and only water when we need. And, I think one thing we should talk about maybe in another episode with how dry eastern Nebraska has been is wildfire risk.
Yeah.
So just keep in mind, especially we just got over 4th of July. I haven't heard of any fires yet, but I'm sure there were. If you're going to be doing stuff, camping, fireworks, please be mindful of that, because it's something that people don't think about in eastern Nebraska as much in western, but we can get fires everywhere.
We can. We are going to have next week as well, in the middle of Member Appreciation Week. Justin and I will be joined by members from the Urban Water Team from Extension to talk about an update on the drought situation and some timely watering advice. So I'll put the registration link for that in the show notes as well.
That will be perfect.
What is blooming in your garden this week?
Okay, here is what is blooming. Mountain mint, of course, going crazy. Okay, there's a plant.
No, I never would have guessed.
That I have forgotten the name of. It is 6 feet tall. I know it had Arkansas in it.
Arkansas blue star?
No.
Amsonia?
Nope.
No, sorry. Ironweed?
Ironweed, thank you. That's what I was looking for.
Mine's about to bloom too.
I always want to call it lead plant, and I know that's not it.
Nick's been doing that too. I think it's because it's metal.
Yeah, it's metal. Ironweed. It's about ready to pop, and I'm so excited because it didn't bloom last year because I just planted it. And then my giant hyssop is going crazy.
I need some hyssop. I haven't got that in my garden.
Yeah, you need it. It spreads, baby.
I know it does.
Which I'm okay with from where I put it. I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
How about your garden?
So mountain mint for me too. My ironweed's about to go liatris.
Mine are not even.
I've got like 3 kinds and they are all starting. I've got the white one I just planted this year for my white garden.
Yes.
And 2 purple ones, and I just love them. They're just like, I got this great picture of Silas holding this one up.
Yeah.
It was like flopping and it's as tall
like
as
the
him.
same height. Yeah.
And then our sunflowers, we planted actual sunflowers from seed this year, and they are like 10 feet tall and starting to open, and we're so excited.
Yeah. I gotta say, my heliopsis are going nuts
I bet
right
they
now.
are. Yeah.
I'm very happy.
Yeah, I need some of those in my garden too. Oh, and my Route 66 coreopsis.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. It's like the ends of the petals were dipped in orange.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When I was in Arkansas, coreopsis blooming everywhere.
So.
It was gorgeous.
Wonderful road ditches.
Yeah. Well, and just trees right up.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us for a somewhat more concise, but I think on topic episode.
Yes.
This week.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate and review. Don't forget to join so you can participate in Member Appreciation Week if you're not already a member. Send us your questions because it's still gardening season. We would love to answer them. Clearly, we take them off Facebook too, so feel free to send them to us any way you can think of. And Bloombox and Bloombox Growing Deeper are both programs of the Nebraska Statewide Arboretum.